Vale. Y los que estáis en el aula, por favor, silencio total, porque si no, no... Vale. Vale, un momento. Ahora aquí una cosita. Vamos a ver. Vale, pues venga, empezamos a ver si está funcionando un momento. Arranque Android. Un momento, arranca. Vale. Vale, so we start the lesson, okay? Okay, so in the last session, right? Okay. Well, this is a topic with different concepts. Okay, we were talking in the last week on concurrent programming, right? So you did the task, okay, with the async task and with the handler. And to finish this part, we will take a look at well, notifications and alarms, okay, in Android. Okay, so well, when you think about notifications in a mobile device, typically you think about the notification in the upper bar, but there are also other ways to display notifications to the user. Okay, one of the most simple notification is the toast, okay, which is a short field of text, okay, that appears typically within the within our application. Okay, this is not a notification device wide, okay, but typically a notification that you display to the user when the user is using the application. Okay, so we use the toast to provide some kind of feedback, okay, to the user, and with this bill or a small pop-up, okay. It only takes the space required for the message, okay, and and you don't lose the visibility of the activity that is being executed. Okay, the activity actually remains interactive. And well, after a while, okay, timeout, the toast fades away, okay, and disappears. So here in the slide you have an example of the code, okay, with just a toast displaying notification, okay, containing a text that says download complete, okay, downloading something and we have completed that, okay, we could use a toast for that. We can also customize, okay, the toast with a custom layout, okay, using the method setView, okay. Here you have in the other example, okay, in the following one you have the you inflate a layout, okay, which is a view. You will have a specific small layout for the toast, okay, and you create the toast, new toast, blah blah blah, in the context, You can set the gravity for the position of the toes, the duration, either long or short, okay, the time that the toast is displayed, and with the method set view, okay, you can set the layout, and then with the method show, you can display this toast. Okay, so either you use the make text method of the toast class to display just a toast containing text, or you can do something more rich in terms of the interface and the information and the graphical elements that you display to the user. Okay. Important here is that in order to display a message using toast, the activity must be visible. Okay, you can only display a toast when the activity is on the screen. When we are outside of the application, okay, we will use notifications that you are familiar with. Okay, this is the information that is shown to the user outside of the activity, outside of the application. Okay, for example, I think many WhatsApp notification or the Telegram notification, but for example, we could think about that task, okay, that takes some time to be completed, okay, and maybe the user is doing everything, okay, for example, downloading something. So the activity is no longer visible, so we could use the notification to notify the user that the download is completed, or whatever task that was being done in the background. Okay, and you can actually notify the user without interfering, okay, with the current use of the device. Okay, in whatever application, in the same application or in another application. In a notification, you can put different kinds of information. Okay, a title, a detail, an icon. You can also attach a sound and even an intent. Okay, for example, for starting a new application or starting a new activity. Okay, when the user taps into the notification. Okay, to associate an intent to the notification. Okay, think about the WhatsApp notification. You click on that and you open the notification, the WhatsApp application. Okay, you place this intent in what we call a pending intent. Okay, so in this example, okay, you have the intent. You create an intent. Okay, and here we are starting a specific activity. Okay, well, on the pending activity, we will create. Okay, we will instantiate the pending intent with the method getActivity, context, blah blah blah. Okay, this is the parameters here. Okay, and this pending intent stores the intent, okay, and the context, okay, including, for example, the permissions required for executing. Depending on the component that we want to activate, okay, because we think about starting a new activity, okay, but we could also start a new service or a broadcast behavior, okay. So depending on that, we will use a different method of the pending intent class, okay. And the second argument, okay, the request code identifies the component that is making the request, okay, and then you have the intent and some flags. These flags, okay, allow us to choose between different possibilities. Okay. The first one is the flag. Well, the first one you have for them here. Okay, flag cancel current. Okay. In this case, if there is already a pending intent, okay, the one that already exists, okay, before generating the new one must be cancelled. Okay. We will think about some examples later. Okay. If there is already a pending intent, okay, we will return, not create, we will return null instead of creating it, okay. The flag once on will be a pending intent that we can only use once, okay, and the last one, the flag update current, what it does is that we have already a pending intent, okay, it will be kept, okay, but we will update the data that is contained. Okay, think about, for example, the notification that says that you have three new emails. Okay, you have the notification and you don't open the notification. Later on, you receive a new email. Okay, the notification doesn't change, but we update that now you have 4 new emails. Okay, this is a simple example. Okay. And well, depending on the behavior of the intent, or depending on intent, we will choose one or another. Okay. Okay, that was what I was explaining now. Okay, here, when we launch an activity, okay, with a start activity from an activity that's using an intent, okay, this intent will be added to the existing backstack, okay, associated with the task, okay, and the fact is that when we start an activity from the notification area, okay, because we have a pending intent there, it may happen that we don't have a task associated to it, okay? So in this case, we will specify the flag activity new task to create a new one if it doesn't exist, okay? And we will also use that, for example, if we launch an activity from another component that it's not another activity, okay? So we are creating the backstack associated to the task. To create a notification, we will see an example later in the code, okay, but we will need an object of the type notification combat builder, okay, that we will be able to assign all the information that is contained in the notification. Okay, we will see an example later. And well, once the notification has been created, you can do a lot of things. Okay, you can manage the notification. Okay, you can remove the notification, you can send it, and so on. Okay, for managing the notification, we use the class notification manager. Okay, that we can get here with notification manager, calling this method from context. Okay, and then we can do access several methods of this class. Okay, for sending actually the notification. For example, with the method notify. We can also obtain instances from different services. Okay, for example, we can access the location manager, the sensor manager, the vibrator, and so on. Okay, that we can also request other than the notification manager or other services. For example, for getting the location, that will be something that you will do in the lab. You will use the location manager. And finally, regarding alarms, in Android we are talking very often about intents. Okay, an alarm is an intent that is launched at a specific time or regularly, okay, on certain intervals, okay, and with that we can, even if the application is not running, okay, we can execute a certain task, okay, and well, once registered, the alarm remains active, okay, even if our device is sleeping, okay, and well, because when the device goes off, the alarms that were registered are cancelled. Some recommendations if you use alarms, okay, if you are activating a service that connects to a server, okay, you should try to keep a low activation frequency in order to not drain the battery, okay, and do not overload the server, okay, depending on how you go, the dimension, okay, in this case of your application and your services, okay. If you are implementing a distributed application, okay, you should avoid to set the alarm at a fixed time, because otherwise all the devices will be accessing the server at the same time. Okay? So you can play you can play with some random time around a given time. Okay, and also you can specify, okay, that the time provided to the alarm is not accurate. Okay, so the system will group several alarms that are within a given interval. Okay, so in this case we avoid awakening, okay, the system, the device several times in small intervals, and consequently we can reduce the use of energy. In order to set the alarm, we can set, okay, either what we call an elapsed real time, okay, which is the time since the system was last started, okay. We will use that when we want the alarm to be activated on intervals, okay. And we have also real time, okay, from the time that is set by the device, okay. Then, well, with that we can trigger the alarm at a specific time, okay. For example, a calendar event triggers an alarm, okay. In this case, if the user changes the clock, this may affect the alarm, okay. Okay, here we have also two kinds of alarms, okay, a version that wakes up the CPO, okay, even if the screen is off, wake up, okay, and a version that waits for the device to wake up to activate the alarm. Okay, depending on that, you can do one option or another. So in the alarm manager, okay, we have a notification manager, we also have an alarm manager, okay, we have 4 types of alarms, okay. The elapsed real time, okay, that will launch a pending intent depending on the time elapsed since the device was started, okay. And if the device is sleeping, this alarm will not be shown, okay. We have real time wake up, okay, that is same as before, but the alarm will be triggered even if the device is sleeping, okay. And the same combination with the real time, okay. We launch a pending intent at a specified time, and the wake up, okay, also will activate the device if it's sleeping, okay. Again, depending on what you want to achieve, you will use one or another. To register alarms, okay, we use the alarm manager, okay, and the same way we do that with the notification manager, okay. We get this is not completed here, but essentially it's alarm manager, AM or whatever, get application context, get system service context dot alarm manager, okay. For non-repetitive alarms, okay, when you have the alarm manager, you can use the method set, okay, to create the alarm, okay. You will include always the time, okay, well, the type, the time to activate the alarm, and depending in then, that will be the action that will be triggered by the alarm, okay. And well, you have also some IP19, okay. Sometimes you have several methods to warranty accuracy, okay. To set a temporary window to activate the alarm with set window, or to set the exact time, okay, to activate the alarm. And for establishing repetitive alarm, okay, you need to provide again the type of clock, when the alarm is triggered, and in addition to that, the shooting interval, okay, once a day, every hour, and so on, okay. And of course, again, the pending intent that will be launched when the alarm is triggered. Okay, and if the alarm is repetitive, there is a method for that in the alarm manager, which is set repeating, okay. And well, the interval indicates the time that must elapse between activation, okay. And the set inexact repeating, okay, that allows the system to decide when when the alarm will be activated, okay, within a given interval, okay. So in this way, the system can drop alarms and avoid activating the device too many times. And even if you have set the alarm, of course, you can always cancel it, okay, with the method cancel, okay, and you will pass the pending intent that was used to activate the alarm. So when the device is turned off, okay, all alarms are cleared, okay. So if we want our application to set the alarms again, okay, we should think about the components that we presented at the beginning, okay, the broadcast receivers, okay. If we want to set again the alarms, what we should do is that our application, okay, should include a broadcast receiver that registers to be notified when the device is started, okay, when the boot finishes, and with this broadcast receiver that will be listening, okay, for the signal about that the device has booted, okay, we can again set the alarms, right? And okay, that's all about notification and alarms. Okay, I'm not going to put an exercise on that, but I will try to show you an example of an implementation. Wait a moment. Okay. Wait a moment. Going to share the screen. Okay. Okay, I'm going to execute it first, and then we explain the codes. Wait a moment. Okay, again, a super dummy application. Okay, we have just we have a list of items here, data, several data, and we have a button. Okay, if we click on any of these items, okay, we get a toast here displaying the element of the list. Okay, later on we will see the implementation. Okay. Okay, you can see that the toast takes a time, okay, to appear and to disappear. It appears, and if I click beta 4, okay, I must wait for the previous one to disappear after displaying the other toast, the other notification. And if I click on the button, I should get a notification in the back. Yeah, okay, so here you have okay, my application, Yahoo, this is my first notification. Okay. The application is completely stupid. Okay, it has nothing. But take a look at the code. Okay. In this case, what we have here is the well, there is a second activity, but it does nothing. Okay, we have just one activity. Okay, and well, we have here well, a list view displaying these strings, okay, dato 1, dato 2, dato 3, blah blah blah. Okay, we have an adapter, okay, which is this one, this array adapter, which is translated here, and well, in the on-item click listener, okay, which is an implementation of a listener. This is a list view, not a recycler view. It's not so helpful for you for the lab. We just get in this method we have a parameter which is the position, okay, that allows us to know where the user has clicked. Okay, we get as a string, because it's a string, the item selected by the user with the method get item at position that has been actually clicked. Okay, and in this case, we have, instead of using the simple toast with a text, okay, we have created a layout. Okay, so we get line by line. Okay, the code can be reduced. We get the layout inflator. We inflate the layout, which is this one toast. Okay, which is a view. And here you have the, okay, this is just a text view where the text is bigger, okay, than usual. And okay, we set it, we get the reference to the text view in the layout. Okay, we set the text contained in the selected item string, and then we create the toast. Okay, we instantiate our new toast here. We set the gravity in the center. We set the duration here, long. We set the view, the layout that we have here, and then we display the toast. Okay. Alternatively, we can do use a simpler method of making test. Okay. In this case, this is the standard toast. Okay. And for the notification that we have here, okay. Have only one. Okay. Well, we have a button, okay, which is registered to the button here, okay, which is registered to the method on send message, okay, and we have implemented the send message rather than send message. We better to call them send notification. Okay, we create pending intent, okay, that in this case starts a second activity, okay, and what we do here, okay, we get as explained in the slide, okay, we create a notification from the new notification builder, okay, and we set all the serial elements, okay, my app, okay, which is that, the ticker, the small icon, which is an image, okay, the content title, the content text, okay, the intent, which is this pending intent, okay, the auto cancel to true, and build, okay, and later on, okay, we have created the notification. We get the notification manager, okay, and with the notify method, okay, we pass the notification, okay. I don't remember if I had implemented that. If I click here, yeah, okay, I have started a new activity from the notification, right? I can go back, okay. Okay, here it happens that. Okay, if I click here, even if I am outside of the application, the notification allows me to open to start the activity in the application. Okay. Very simple example. Okay. And okay. And that's all. ¿Se me sigue oyendo bien?
Sí.
Sí. Vale, bueno. Vale, bueno, este ejemplo, ¿vale? Lo subiré al aula virtual y, bueno, también lo tenéis para, os hace falta para, en algún momento podéis tirar de copiar, pegar, ¿vale? Y utilizarlo o modificarlo. Vale, pues me vuelvo ahora a las diapos. A ver, déjame que deje de compartir un momento. Vale. Un momento. Okay, I have just uploaded the slides of the topic 5 to the, yeah, no, yeah, okay, I have uploaded the slides of the topic 5, which is about networking, okay, in the virtual classroom. Okay, I'm going to open that here. Wait a moment. Okay. Okay, so something about networking. Okay, this is quite easy. Okay, but well, we will rely on what we have seen previously with the handlers, async task. Okay, and several approaches to do to carry out some task in the background. Okay, and we will use it in this case also. So of course, all our devices are always connected to the internet. Okay, we use them to access a lot of resources, a lot of services that are in the network. Okay, that are in the internet. Okay, the first thing that you need to declare in your application, okay, is that actually you need the permission, okay, from the user, from the device, to access the network. Okay, we will do that as usual in the Android manifest file. Okay, and for example, we could check, okay, somewhere in our activity, somewhere in our application, okay, whether we have first of all whether we have access to the network or not. Okay, the device, for example, is connected. Because, for example, we could have the permission to access the internet, but if we don't know whether our device is connected to the internet or not, it doesn't make really sense. Okay, so here you have an example of code. Okay, just two with the connectivity manager. Okay, again another manager, another system service provided by Android, to know whether the device has connection or not. Okay. In this case, okay, we get the connectivity manager. Okay, with the method get active network info, we get this networking information, and well, here we have several methods. Okay. If this network info is not null and is connected is true, okay, we will know that the device has connection. Otherwise, we will see that the device has no connection. Okay. An important thing that we will see is that, okay, the network connection, okay, must be performed outside of the user interface thread. Okay, and that we actually need to request, in this case, the access, the permission to access the internet. Okay. Well, for networking in Android, okay, well, this is general networking concepts. Okay, the UDP protocol, the CP protocol, HTTP. Okay. UDP, maybe you remember, okay, this is a transport layer protocol for client-server communication, okay, and in this case, in UDP, the delivery of packages is not guaranteed, okay, and the arrival in the same order as they were sent is not is neither sure, okay. So from the point of view of communication, it has less overhead, okay, and from the point of view of the application, the packets are explicitly built, okay, and sent. And on the other machine, the receiver, the packets are received, and we can, the application, the other machine can access the information that is contained in the packet and process it, okay. In Android, we can use, we can build packets with a class datagram packet, okay, and we can send and receive them with a datagram socket, okay, Java-like, okay. In this case, you have several examples of that, okay, of creating a datagram packet for sending, okay, providing the internet address and the port, creating a datagram packet for receiving, okay, and we can set the data and get the data, okay, to be sent or received, okay, and the datagram socket, the same, datagram socket without the port parameter will use a free port, okay, we can specify a port, this is not used by other processes, and we can send the datagram packet or receive the datagram packet, okay, and finally we can close it. Okay, I'm sure seguro que esto lo habéis visto en alguna otra asignatura, ¿no? Some useful classes, okay, okay, any type of data, okay, we need to map them to a byte, okay, to a array of bytes to be able to assign them to a datagram packet, okay, and in the receiver, okay, we will do the inverse process, okay, from the byte to the data types of the application, okay, and we can use in this case the byte array output stream and the byte array input stream, okay. We could also use a buffer, okay. Several approaches. I'm not going to put much time on that. Okay. Well, in TCP we have the control on the delivery, okay, of the packets, and at the application level, okay, these packets are received, okay, in the same order in which they were sent, okay, even if we have a transmission, okay. So here, from the point of view of the application, we work at the level of input and output stream. We will have a class socket, okay, for representing this communication channel with TCP. And well, either we create a socket server and a socket, okay, on the server, and on the client, okay, we will create a new socket, okay, with the IP, the host name, and the port. Okay. Once we have the socket, we can use the method get input stream and get output stream, okay, to get the input and output associated to the connection, okay. And again, once the communication is done, we have received already, or we have sent already, we can close the socket and release the network resources. Okay, here you have an example of the server, okay, with a thread, okay, containing, okay, a run method to obtain with all the code to obtain the input or output streams, to read and write information, and to close the stream, okay, within a try catch, okay. And well, the class server itself, okay, will create this server socket, okay, in a port, and will create this thread, okay, for receiving or sending, okay. And on the client side, okay, we will create a socket, okay, and we will do all this stuff, okay, obtain input output stream, read write information, close the stream, and eventually close the socket. Okay, that's not really, I'm not paying much attention because it's not really Android specific, okay, it's rather communication networking in Java, okay, so just to give an overview of the main classes and concepts that that we will use. Okay, very often, okay, we will use we will implement, okay, at the communication at the TCP layer, okay, but we will interact with an HTTP server, okay. For example, in the lab, you have seen you have taken a look at the last session. The idea is that instead of having the information from the coronavirus and municipalities and so on stored in the application, the idea is that we can directly retrieve the data from the server of the Generalitat Valenciana. Okay, so we can, in the application, have always the last updated information. Okay, so well, when we interact with an HTTP server, okay, we need to care about reading and processing headers, reading the body of the response, and so on. Okay, so it's better to work at the replication layer. Okay, so we have the API that takes care of writing the HTTP method. Okay, and all the stuff, the headers and so on, and version of the protocol, the status, and so on. And well, at the end, what we obtain is an output stream, okay, to write the body of the request, and an input stream to read the body of the response, okay, the HTTP response. Okay. Okay, in this case, okay, well, the classes that you have in Java to work with HTTP protocol are URL, okay, that allows you to work with different protocols, not only HTTP, but also file, FTP, and SMTP, okay. URL connection, okay, that we need that if we plan to establish a bidirectional communication, and HTTP URL connection, which is a subclass, okay, of URL connection specific to the protocol HTTP. Here you have an example, okay, of the get method, okay. Well, we create a URL, okay, it's well, an internet address, okay. Later on, we create this HTTP URL connection, okay, which is the subclass of URL connection, and we pass, well, we create that with the method open connection from the previous URL. Okay, we can set several request properties. Okay, here we plan to accept a JSON, a read timeout, a connect timeout, and so on. Okay, we set the request method to get, okay, which is the default option. Okay, and finally we connect. Okay, and eventually we get an input stream from the HTTP URL connection, and well, we can read the data, okay, and well, this is Java, we are displaying it into the command line, okay, and finally we close the input stream and so on, okay. In this case, okay, we are reading, okay, directly the body of the message, okay, because we are at the application level. Okay, if we want to get the header fields of the answer, okay, we can also use some method of the class of this class HTTP URL connection. Here you have an example of a post. Okay, well, the same. We have the URL, we have the HTTP URL connection object. We set the request method to post. Okay, we can set again some request properties. and well, we do the do output and do input to true, and finally we open with correct the communication link with the remote URL with the remote resource. Okay. Once we have opened the communication, well, in this case we create a string buffer, okay, and well, we can we can append parameters that will be sent in the body. Okay, we are appending the param name, URL encoded, blah 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 blah, whatever we want, and finally, okay, we write the message body with an output string. Okay, we write about 2 bytes. Okay, from the string that we plan to send. We do a flash, and finally we close. Okay, and for reading response, okay, the inverse, we will have an input stream, okay, and we will read from the input stream, and finally we close the input stream. Okay, yeah. Okay, but as we have set at the beginning, okay, we cannot perform networking operations in the user interface thread. Okay, so it means that in order to do some whatever networking we want to do in Android, we need to execute it in the background. So we could use a service, okay, sometimes done, but for example, for simple connections, we can use some of the methods, okay, some of the approaches that we saw in the last week. Okay, a very simple example is to use an async task. Okay, you are already familiar with that. Okay, so for example, we could create within an activity. Okay, we will create an internal class. Okay, where we are extending async task. Okay, so in this case we have name it petition HTTP, request HTTP, not translated. Okay, but in the method doing background, okay, we will do all the networking stuff before. Okay, we get something. Okay, we get some response, which will be in this case a string. Okay, because we get a string where the data is downloaded. Okay, and finally in the onPost execute method, we can display this information for example, in a text view. Okay. We could also use a handler. Okay. Again, we will have the HTTP request. Okay, instead of extending async task. Okay, this will be a thread. Okay, and well, we will have in the thread, in the run method, we will within the try, we will have all the networking information. Okay, and finally, in order to send the information back to the user interface thread, okay, we will send. In this case, we are posting a runnable, okay, where we are setting a text in the text view. Okay, we could also send a message, for example. Okay, and finally, well, regarding data in the response, well, very generally speaking, okay, the web server can send you 2 types of responses. Okay, some kind HTML code that the client, okay, for example, a browser component capable of rendering HTML must analyze and render to the user, or whatever data. Okay, if we are using data, we need to choose a representation for this data. Okay, that could be just plain text, but for example, very often we will be dealing with XML or JSON. Okay, you have already been fighting with JSON. Okay, and well, you are already familiar with that, but just here you have the general JSON structure and annotation. Where we have two kinds of structure: the list of elements, the arrays, and the map of key value type pairs. And well, you can play with JSON object and JSON array, and you can also use JSON reader to read JSON from a reader, with maybe a character-oriented input stream, or JSON writer to write JSON to a writer, we have character-oriented output stream, and well, this is an example that you are already familiar with that, so I think we can skip it. See here, for example, imagine that you have a book, with some key value pairs, author, title, date, and so on, and with for example, with this method get libro, we could create a JSON. We could get a JSON object from this string, as you have seen here, and then you can create the book object, with the methods I think that you are already familiar from the JSON object. Well, we have another example with the JSON reader here, but I'm going to skip it. So that's very generally speaking about networking. I think well, within the scope of the course, I think that the most interesting is that you are able to deal with HTTP connection. Because you are going to use it in the project. You will very probably, whatever Android application using networking, you will connect with an HTTP server. So in the remaining time, I'm going to propose you a small exercise that I should have it here. Wait a moment. I'm going to share that at the moment. The idea is that you develop a very simple application, in order to retrieve content, some text, from an HTTP service. So the idea is that you create a new project, new application, with an edit text, that will allow the user to enter an URL, a button that will trigger the action of retrieving the content from the URL, and finally a text view to display the response from the URL. Very simple. An edit text, I copy paste some URL, some address, a button, I get it, and I display it into the application. So first you create a new project with an empty activity, you add the views, and then you implement the desired functionality. Here you have the skeleton of the main activity. Here I am standing up a compat activity, but it's not necessary. And we are going to, since you are already familiar with that, we are going to implement that with an internal class called HTTP call that will extend the async task. And in the doing background method, as we have seen in the slides, we will do all the connection stuff. And That's all. Okay, here you have an example, and then you will need also to register a listener in the button. Okay, and in order to test the application, okay, you will test with this URL. Okay, you get this one, and you will see a message. Okay, so I am going to upload the file. Okay, in the virtual classroom. Okay, and that's all. Stop sharing. ¿Vale? ¿Os ha quedado claro más o menos lo que hay que hacer? Sí, ¿no? Pues nada, venga, pones a trastear con ello. Sí, claro. Pero voy a silenciar esto, ¿vale? Cualquier pregunta la ponéis por el chat. ¿De acuerdo? Ya estoy aquí. ¿Cómo va? ¿Alguna duda? Vale. Silencio para que no tengáis ruido de fondo, ¿vale? Si tenéis dudas, escribís por el chat. ¿Vale? Os he creado una tarea para que lo entreguéis, pero recordad que es opcional, ¿vale? No la voy a evaluar. Así, hay que ver un poco el registro de que lo habéis hecho. ¿Vale? Las que voy a evaluar va a ser el 1 y el 2. ¿Vale? Eso sí que las evaluaré y mirad lo que habéis entregado. Y será parte de la nota. El resto no, el resto son trabajos de clase. Pero eso también me sirve a mí para saber si lo hacéis, os enteráis. De Android queda 2 clases más. O sea, nos queda una semana de Android después de fallas y luego ya empecéis procesando. ¿Vale? Para entregar el proyecto, me lo habéis preguntado varios, tendréis más o menos hasta... A ver, yo normalmente intento que, como la parte de procesing tenéis para entregarla hasta final de mayo, ¿vale? Hasta final de curso prácticamente, intento que no coincida porque si no, al final se os acaba montando, ¿vale? En principio hasta final de abril, ¿vale? Ya lo pondré la fecha. Lo hablaré también con Miriam, ¿vale? Pero pondremos final de abril. Los días de fallas finalmente en la Universidad de Valencia son festivos, sí. No lo han cambiado. Vale, una cosa que me preguntan por aquí, ¿vale? A partir de, os copio aquí el código, a partir del HTTP URL connection, ¿vale? Podéis obtener un getInputStream, ¿vale? Y ese input_stream, ¿vale? Meterlo dentro de un buffer reader. Y a partir de ahí el buffer reader lo lees. ¿Vale? Os dejo ahí el código del buffer reader en el chat. ¿Vale? ¿Cómo lo lleváis por ahí en casa? No, en este caso no hay motivo, Alejandro. No sé si estás todavía conectado. Vale, sencillamente sí, que te veo conectado. No, es que sencillamente el servicio el Moki creo que utilizaba, no sé si utiliza... Podrías utilizar el HTTPS sin problemas. Vale, pues hasta aquí la clase de hoy, ¿vale? La semana que viene os mandaré correo, ¿vale? Para ver si alguien tiene previsto venir presencial y así optimizamos también la clase. Y... Ah, vale, correcto. Vale, ya recuerdo. Un momentín. Vale. Un momento. Si tienes eso... Un momentito. Esto era en... Vale, eso es por una medida de, bueno, un tema de seguridad de Android, ¿vale? Ahí tenéis dos opciones, o poner HTTPS, que yo creo que funcionará, ¿vale? Lo cambiáis a HTTPS, o bien, a ver si lo recuerdo, ¿vale? Puedes poner en una opción de Android Manifest, en el Android Manifest, ¿vale? Podéis poner a esta opción. Vale. Vale, eso es porque habrás empezado, tu proyecto tendrá una API, si no me equivoco, 28 o superior, ¿puede ser? Vale, en API, quiero recordar que en API 28 superior, por defecto, no te permite, Android no te permite, por tema de seguridad, acceder a pelo, clear text, ¿vale? A tráfico en HTTP. ¿Vale? Si tu target es una API inferior a 28, sí que deberías poder, y si no, tienes que habilitarlo explícitamente en el Android Manifest. ¿Vale? Bueno, detengo la grabación.